On today's episode of the Double Bill Podcast, we dive deep into our favorite
Licorice pizza.
and every possible movie theater experience and what movie theaters mean to us. We'll definitely have a great time on this conversation. Also, to enjoy more content from us, please follow us on Twitter, Instagram, at double_bill pod, and YouTube. The Double Bill Podcast is owned by Unmasked Productions. Check out the amazing work we have on there as well. But for now, please enjoy this episode of the Double Bill Podcast. And all right, we're back. Another episode of Double Bill. As always, with me is Justin Keller and Jacob Deering. How you guys been?
It's been great since we last talked. It's been almost a minute, but we stayed on track, so I'm proud of us.
Been a few days.
How about you, Justin?
Crazy things have happened, man. Licorice pizza just went on sale. You know,
It's a new day.
Yep. Crimes of the Future came out.
oh boy, did it ever.
So
Crimes of the Future.
on today's episode of the Double Bill, we're going to be talking about fuck you, bro. Fuck you, Jacob.
Sorry, I just thought about something funny. Let's keep going though.
On today, I'll leave that in too.
So glad you aborted that joke, though.
But today's episode, we're going to be talking about movie theater experiences. This is kind of more of a fan episode, kind of something to get people engaged in just who we are. As you probably know, I'm not sure about the other two, but I'll start off. Movie theaters mean a lot to me. I think growing up, I didn't know exactly what they meant, but as time went on and as Christopher Nolan kept talking and as Steven Spielberg kept talking and as Scorsese kept talking and as streaming started getting bigger, you started to really feel the love for movie theaters like we really took it for granted in the early thousands, like from 2000 to 2010, we really took it for granted. And now we're finally we're having our television moment. Whenever TVs at home, people thought that whenever TVs were put in people's homes, that was going to be the end of movie theaters. It wasn't even close, but we're having that moment and we're kind of close now. And we're starting to see the effects with the type of movies we see in theaters. And so it means a lot to me. And we'll definitely dive deep in the half hour that we have here. But what about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something, like you said, that we take for granted. It's been with us since we were born. Before we could even have memories, we had memories of us going to movie theaters to watch something, and for that chance to be taken away, or for another generation to never know what that is, just to be a relic of our present, their past, and it's a sad thought. It really is. I think it's a part of our culture, and it's something that we don't want to lose. And that's why, whenever we lose it now, I think it makes all those memories so much more valuable.
Yeah.
And for me, I like to think that I care too much about movie theaters, like down to the point where I won't go see a movie if I know that the theater they're playing that movie doesn't look crisp and clean. If there's a blue dot on the screen, if there's a flicker in the bulb, like I'll literally leave a movie theater because I don't want that, because I know that's not how it's supposed to look. So when you go to movies nowadays, the amount of people that care about whether your stuff looks good is slim to none. So I take the theater going experience probably more seriously than I do anything else in my life, which says a lot about me to a certain extent.
Yeah, I feel the same because, I mean, Jacob can attest. I mean, we have a friend, all of us have a mutual friend named Hayden, and he could care less. Probably before last year, he could care less about, and he still could care less about the movie theater experience. But we've kind of like spent 2 years, a year or two, to kind of convince him of why it's important to go and see certain things in a movie theater. But we still have like a long way to go, because like you said, like if it's not good projection, it's kind of like a fuck you, I'm taking your money moment. And he still goes and sees, like, there's a theater that we go to that's it's called Fork and Screen, or it was called Fork and Screen. I won't mention the location, but Jacob works at it. He mentioned it in the last episode. So if you want,
We'll take it out.
yeah, if you want to murder Jacob, but
You know, I work. Yeah, I work Mondays, Thursdays, and Wednesdays.
But they have like this whole side of that entire theater that's just like really bad for projection, for experience, for comfort. It's just really bad.
It was not bad when I used to work there, because I took that seriously.
It was still bad. It was still
No,
bad.
no,
It's
impossible.
it's bad because of the experience. You got lights on, very bright
Yeah.
lights, very bright lights.
And don't turn off. You're just stuck with it.
Yeah, the seats are uncomfortable. All of those screens are very, very small.
And for some reason, like they put like that wall up, so like the first inch of the
Cinema
bottom of
Suite.
the screen is always taken off.
That's Cinema Suites. So the Fork and Screen, but the Cinema Suites at Grapevine suck too. But didn't mean to name drop. But
Okay, I know the fork and seats. Yeah. I mean the fork and
So on the left side is the Fork and Screen, and on the right
Yikes,
side,
those don't have the recliners, right?
yeah, no,
Those are trash.
yeah, those are trash. Like, I don't think there's any other theater that has that. They're just so bad, and it's pointless now because they don't even have servers anymore. But
Well, I'm glad one of us is moving closer to that theater, so that that'll be your permanent theater.
Oh,
Thank you for letting him know after we name drop. I can't wait for us to get murdered together, guys.
yeah, thanks for letting them know where I'm moving now. Jesus Christ.
Good, it's
Oh,
gonna be your permanent theater with shitty projections.
I'm gonna get screwed. Guess what? Guess what? I drive a gold Honda Accord. So
Dude, I remember whenever I wrecked my white Honda Accord, and then Justin was a pal, and he actually took the car for me, fixed it up,
now
and
he
turned it
drives.
into a 2009.
Oh, anyway, so sidetracked with the little time that we have. So kind of for me, we're in the streaming wars, right? And this is an argument me and Justin have. Take a movie like Don't Look Up last year. I went to go see it. I think you went to go see it too, Jacob, at
I
a
did.
Cinemark.
I saw it
We
at
went to go
Alamo
see it
in
in
Dallas.
Um,
Really, just giving the pinpoint?
Are you talking about the one in Richardson or Dallas or
Oh, the one that's only
Then-
like 30 minutes from my house.
30 minutes from Grapevine? Okay, cool.
17.9 miles.
So we went to go see it in theaters, but I think me and Justin, I can't remember if we did or not, but I just feel like I had an argument with you. But you asked, why would I pay $15 to go see it when I can watch it at home for free in a few weeks?
Well, yeah, why would you
So,
drive to
Justin, you're
Dallas when
not-
you could go see it in Grapevine?
So Justin, you're
At your
not
place.
you're not completely on the movie theater side. So go ahead and explain your thought process.
Wait, hold on. Before you explain your thought process, can I explain what I think his thought process is? This man's probably spent like $5,000 on Blu-rays. He's fucking watching them on Blu-ray. That's it.
My thought process is
I thought it'd be funnier.
I know. Me too. It felt like it was gonna be funnier.
comedy's a hard job. Look no further than this moment right here. So
I could think of another moment.
I do believe film should be seen in theaters first. I just personally, for my own sake, need to justify the drive. When I go to a theater that's far away, I need to know that I'm getting something that I couldn't get 5 minutes down the road.
It was 5 minutes from you.
Okay, but I had to pay out money.
It was at every Cinemark, so you could have gone to any Cinemark. AMC
Yes,
was the deal.
but again, I need to justify that. When we take Don't Look Up, for example, I felt no urge to go see Don't Look Up in theaters because I was like, why am I going to pay $15 when I know in less than a week or two that it'll be on that 4K TV right there? I could pop my own popcorn, I have my own water, everything's great. Why do I need $15 plus all that on the side? So my Don't Look Up ticket just now increased from 15 to about $35 when I could do all that for $5 here. So I'm cheap when it comes to things like that, but I'll justify Top Gun Maverick because I know that if I go to a bigger theater with a laser IMAX, that I'm getting something I can't get at the neighborhood IMAX, at the Limaxes.
Take better examples. Take movies that dropped on streaming and theaters. So Dune dropped on theaters and streaming.
There was a reason for me to go see Dune because number one, Dune had an expanded IMAX ratio in theaters, in IMAX theaters, to where HBO Max was a scope 239:1 the whole way around. So I was never going to watch Dune on HBO Max. But King Richard, for better example, King Richard I watched on HBO Max, had no issues with it. I saw no reason to go to theaters for King Richard because it was given to me on that TV over there. So I wouldn't have waited for King Richard on Blu-ray. I still would have seen it in theaters if there wasn't an HBO Max alternative. But for me, that whole year of Warner Brothers, I only saw four or five movies on their HBO Max streaming service. Or no, sorry, other way around. 4 or 5 movies from their catalog I saw in theaters, and everything else they gave me, I saw on HBO Max, whether that be Reminiscence, Cry Macho, The Little Things, Tom and Jerry, list goes on and on. But they're big
Saw Little
template
Things
stuff.
on streaming.
Huh?
You said you saw Little Things on streaming.
Yeah.
Should have watched it in theaters with me and the 3 other people that watched it.
There was just no reason to. I was like, I don't need to go
Wasn't
sit.
bad.
I don't need to go sit in a theater to watch The Little Things when it's right here on my television. But for Godzilla versus Kong, I obviously went to theaters for
So
that.
what I'm getting at is that you believe in more of the event type movie theater experience.
Not exactly, because I would watch Boyhood in theaters. I would watch.
If Boyhood drops on streaming the same day as it drops on theaters, what
And
is
it
the difference?
and it wasn't directed by Richard Linklater, and it was directed by somebody else.
I'm saying,
I'm not
what's the
gonna lie,
difference?
I probably would have waited for streaming.
Exactly. So you were more of an event type movie theater goer.
When it comes to certain things, I need to know that I need to know that I'm getting something out of that theater experience.
Okay. Well, I'll explain my thought process is, and then we'll get to Jacob's, is I believe every movie should be seen in a theater. And I guess that's me, again, being a Christopher
Which is
Nolan-
what I said. I said that.
a Christopher Nolan, no, like straight up, like you can't play both sides because you said you said you saw more of those movies that were in theaters at home. So you don't believe every movie
Because they
should
gave
be-
me the option. They told me you could do it the other way.
But I'm getting is like, for me, it's not the same as you saying that. It's like the only movie I ever saw that dropped day and date last year was Mortal Kombat.
And see, that's one of the ones I went to theaters for.
That was the only one that I watched at home. Everything else I watched in theaters. And the reason for it is, for me, it literally is that whole experience. Like the amount of distractions and the amount of bullshit that goes on outside of a movie theater is the reason why I choose it. Like unless I am truly bored by this a movie theater experience will always give me that an experience. You are not experiencing a movie in your own home. You're watching a movie. That's why it's the movie theater experience. You can't experience something in your own home, especially something like this that is made to be seen on the big screen. Now, if you're telling me that there is a movie that was made to be seen on streaming because the director didn't give a fuck about movie theaters, okay, fine. They clearly could care less, but it's made. Every single sound, every single picture, everything is made to be seen through that projector for that experience of being in that dark room, like Jacob said, with 3 other guys that were weirdos. Did he like the movie? No. But that experience he got with 3 other people is something he'll never get at home. And maybe he's looking at what those guys are looking at. Maybe he's talking to those guys. Maybe something's got like all that. I cherish that. Like Top Gun.
I cherish it
Maverick-
just as much, but at the same
Top Gun
time,
Maverick, like obviously it's not the same, but because it won't be on streaming for a long time. But Top Gun Maverick, it's like even like the annoying things, that's an experience for me. It's like there's this guy sitting next to me on my second watch that was talking the entire time, and he's like, but he wasn't talking to his wife, he's talking to the movie. He's literally like in it. He's like, oh fuck yeah, like fuck yeah, boom, like just going. He's active, and it's like all of that is exciting. It's a story to tell. It's an experience. So like I don't. It's like as much as that stuff will piss me off, it honestly like makes the experience even better because you just have a story to tell, which is something we're going to get into next. Is like some of our best stories of being in a movie theater. But
But I think some
mean,
people have ruined it
I
though.
I agree with you, but I think that for me, it's a different mindset. It's like even the smallest movie possible, I would have rather seen that in a movie theater than on streaming. Or even like if you ever give me the option to see it in theaters, I'm going to do my absolute best to see it in theaters. And you can hold me to my grave. If I don't see it in theaters, it's because I was just way too busy. and it
Well,
wasn't-
case in point, look at The Irishman. The Irishman played very, very small and then launched on Netflix. I never saw The Irishman in theaters. I only saw it on Netflix.
Hey,
That didn't-
we did.
That didn't
not
take
what-
away from my enjoyment of The Irishman, though. All I
that-
thought about it was that it just, I couldn't sit in that chair for 3 hours watching that movie. But I took it into parts. I broke
That's a
that movie up.
perfect example of how much, I guess Jacob's probably on my side, but that's how much me and him care about the movie theater experience. We fucking watched it and probably I wonder if Martin Scorsese would be more happy with us watching it in a movie theater or watching it with pristine vision.
We got like 244p at one point.
But
God damn it,
honestly,
we
like,
watched
that's
it
what
on
I'm talking
stream.
about. That's what I'm talking about. It's like it's that experience. Like we literally got to experience that film in the shittiest way possible. But also it was an experience, communal experience between me and Jacob that we would
Yeah.
never have had if we watched it at home instead.
Because I feel like whenever you go to watch a movie, there's always a story within that. Somebody always has a story whenever they watched a movie and something happened, either whether it be during, before, or after. And that's become synonymous with movies within themselves. It's something that you realize is meant to be shared and experienced with others, and it's it can bring people together.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's so isolating to take that away, because you're taking one massive outlet that brings strangers closer together rather than keep them in their own homes.
Yeah. So I mean, I see where you're coming from, which is obviously where 95% of the world probably comes from, and there's only 5% of us that are freaks like me and Jacob. But yeah, I'd pay the extra 15 to see a movie that I'm going to see at home in a week or in a day. Absolutely, I would, because it's that much better, and it's the distractions that also get to me. And it doesn't matter if I like the movie or hate. Like I can go watch a movie in a movie theater and absolutely hate it. Absolutely hate it. But I still think that there's an experience to be had for that movie that you just can't get at home. How many stories did you hear about The Irishman where people fucking paused the movie? It took them
I
a
was
week.
one of them.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous to me. Watch it all the way through, and to me, that's disrespectful to the filmmaker. Obviously, you have that option. He had no other choice. Netflix gave him $100 million, although they said they're never going to do that again. I don't know if y'all saw that article.
I did.
But they gave him $100 million, and he's like, "Fuck it, I'll make the movie I want." And I guess people will pause my movie and be on their phones. Cool. But
I
Martin
would argue he
Scorsese-
reached a broader audience by
No.
doing it on Netflix.
No, he did not reach a broader audience. He
I
did
would
not.
argue he did.
They lost money for that movie. They lost money. Like,
How do you lose money when you constantly have a streaming,
they,
a revenue of income coming in at all times?
Because they have specific projections of how much subscriptions they want to gain.
Exactly.
Whenever
You'd
they
be-
drop a release, how much attraction they can get. If that stays stagnant while they're investing more money into the company, that's
yeah.
a net loss on profit.
So
It's not going to come up immediately, but it will come up in the long run whenever they're trying to make money back. That's why their whole
then maybe they
business.
didn't market it.
that's why their whole
well
that's why
enough.
their whole business model is failing, and why any streaming service is inherently doomed, because the way that it has to fund projects, there is no feasible way unless if that company actually has other outlets than simply movie making.
The
Because
only
there is
way
a cap on
Net-
streaming services. There's only so many people in the world that can pay for your streaming service until you hit a cap.
Netflix is like one of the very few that don't have ads. Like obviously that's what they're doing. And so they make their money through subscriptions. And when they're losing subscriptions, their stock price goes down. And when their stock price goes down like it is and has, they're losing money. It's shit like that they're losing money. Is they paid $100 million for it. They're expecting to win the Oscar, make people go watch it, didn't win the Oscar. Nobody went to go really watch it. Nobody watched it at home. Nobody finished it. It's not gaining traction. It's not gaining new subscribers. So it's a loss of money in the subscription base. And that's what a lot of people, that's what the industry is starting to realize whenever they put their big movies on streaming, is you're not really making money by doing that. It's as Christopher Nolan said in an interview I listened to, he's like, it's basic economics. You're not making money from it because movie theaters you are. You're making a shit ton of money in the movie theaters because all that money from ticket sales is going to. That's why Netflix is even thinking about, they're trying to figure out a way to make sure that people can't share passwords because they're not making money. They need new subscribers and they're losing. So that's kind of that argument of like, he didn't gain a new fan base. Not a lot of people watch The Irishman because it's too long and it wasn't interesting to the average audience like Top Gun is. But even then, I don't think Top Gun would have been a success on streaming either, because you're allowing people days to watch it, weeks, months, years, whenever they want.
Exactly. That's the biggest crux to streaming, is you have that choice. And there comes a point where there's too much of a choice because there's so much input going, or there's so much output with products. You know, whenever you got Top Gun, you got a million other fucking things that people are trying to catch up on.
Yeah,
It's just too much.
that's why Disney was a smart one, and they chose not to do day and date last year with some of their movies. They did it with some, but not all. Like they're really big movies, obviously Marvel, they didn't do day and date, and they were able to get people back to the movies, and it paid off. But let's jump into another little topic. That was a good little conversation. Hopefully, I definitely want to have. I think this will be a reoccurring topic throughout our time on the podcast, because it's a good argument. But I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what is your earliest movie theater experience? What do you remember the first time? What is your remembrance of the first time you ever went to a movie theater? We'll start with Justin because I know you'll have the longest answer.
Mine is 2002. Time, I got you. Mine is 2002. The first Spider-Man film. That was the first film I ever saw in theaters. I was 4 years old, and I was a 4-year-old going to see Spider-Man. And I think it's to no surprise that my parents took me out of the film whenever Willem Dafoe would come on screen. And the two moments that stand out to me were him crawling on the floor talking to the mask itself, and then him going up to the little mirror and talking to himself, making those Willem Dafoe faces. And then the second one that I had to leave the theater for was the final battle sequence. That was just far too intense for me. Couldn't handle it. Got taken out of the film. Never saw the original Spider-Man film in its entirety until Spider-Man 3 came out. Then my parents said, I think you're old enough, Justin. And then I watched them and I was like, these are the greatest films ever made. Then they showed me the prequels and I said, these are the greatest films ever made. And now look at what I have behind me. These are the greatest films ever made. So that's my story. Short and sweet. Time, baby. Come on, time.
For me, it was Star Wars Episode 3. I think this is the earliest memory because I don't think that we went to movies that often, but it was Episode 3. I think I was 8 years old because that came out in 2005. Apologies, someone is blowing the shit out of my porch right now. I hope that's not too loud. It's pretty fucking loud in here. We'll go ahead and take a pause on that till he's done, and we're recording. For me, it was 2005 Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I had been 8 years old, and the only reason, there's only two things I remember about that movie being in it. It was that I had no idea what Star Wars was. So the first thing that I remember was seeing Darth Vader at the end of the movie. That shit just like was terrifying because I was like, who the fuck is that guy? He looks cool, but holy shit. So naturally we all went back home and watched every single Star Wars movie. But then the second thing that I'll never forget was we're at Grapevine. Damn, another name drop. And I look behind me, and we're in theater 17 or some shit, and I look behind me, and two people are fucking. And so I'll never forget that. It was the first moment I ever saw sex in real life. So, yeah. You what?
Wait, what film was that?
Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
There was sex in Revenge of the Sith?
No, there was two people fucking behind me.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry.
Oh, y'all were tripping? Oh, shit.
Dude, I was like, is there a Lucas cut?
No.
You see Anakin just
I'm an 8-year-old kid. And
giving it to Padme.
Clapping cheeks, doggy style. Right behind Mike.
I looked behind me and
She's like, you don't like this sand. How about me?
My bad. Jacob, go ahead.
Oh man, I mean, I feel like I don't think it was Revenge of the Sith. I think mine ended up being Spider-Man 3, I believe, being just the first one that I remember. I definitely remember Spider-Man 3 just because whenever Venom came on, that shit, I remember me just standing up. It was me and my older sister that went. I was like, no, we're good. We can go. And try to dip. I was like, yeah, no, that's a little too much for my 8-year-old brain to take. You're muted, Mike.
I watched the trailer for that movie and was just like, yeah, I'm not watching that. So I didn't watch that movie until I felt like I was good enough to watch it. Like I had nightmares about Venom. Like Sam Raimi, bro, it's a kid's movie, guy. Like that shit was terrifying. Like I remember a lot of people in elementary school were like, yeah, I was haunted by that film.
He did not hold back.
No, dude, like Venom was terrifying. Which makes me like, that's part of the reason why I don't like the new Tom Hardy Venoms, because you go from terrifying to just like
He's a joke.
He's a joke. Like it's like that's not the Venom that I like, but okay. But cool, yeah. What is y'all's favorite memory of being in a movie theater?
Favorite memory? Oh man.
I got my answer if you guys got to think about it.
I got mine too.
Okay, Justin.
I'll let y'all go.
Okay, so mine is the Dark Knight trilogy. Okay, July 19th, 2012. It is the culmination of my Chris Nolan trilogy, of course. I had seen Batman Begins in theaters, could kind of remember it. I definitely remember my Dark Knight experience. That was at a Studio Movie Grill. And then I got to conclude it all with Rises. And my audience reaction really got crazy for Dark Knight. Batman Begins, they were like, woo, that's cool. And then the credits rolled, they clapped. But Dark Knight, that kicked him into a whole new gear. By the time we got to Rises, there was nobody in that theater who wasn't hyped and ready to go. They clapped at the Warner Brothers logo. They did not clap at the Warner Brothers logo for Begins or Dark Knight, but Rises, they were all game for it.
They clapped for Man of Steel. Like that's how exciting it was to see Chris Nolan.
Exactly. I don't remember. Did I have a Man of Steel trailer for Dark
Should've.
Knight?
It was right.
Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah, you should have. It was in front of every screening.
All right. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I know I didn't see that trailer during Avengers Endgame though. I do know that. But for me, that was my top theater going experience because
only you laughed, but
because I think I'm the funniest man in America. Did you guys know that Michael once upon a time told me I'm the funniest man in America? It's not recorded, but it's in this memory.
You had to say it real quick. It's not recorded.
He's gonna.
It's not recorded. He couldn't record it. I was like, this bastard.
He's gonna take up the full 9 minutes.
I am gonna take a full 9 minutes. No, I won't. But yeah. So anyway, when Batman got his back broken by Bane, not only did the crowd like ooh and ah, but they literally crowd like this, like they got tight because they felt it. That sound of his back breaking, they went like they were like we can't. It was too much. It was literally too much.
Jacob, why you look like Andrew Garfield or Adam Driver from Silence right now? Like, what the? Justin, does he not?
I've come to speak the Lord's gospel.
Father Herrera.
There is another scene in Rises that the audience went crazy for. You want to know what it was? Do you want to
What?
know what it was?
What?
When Bane had his speech and said it's time to rip the rich out of their homes and all that. Dude to my right, very far right, he's sitting on the edge. He starts clapping, man. Nobody else claps with him. One lonely dude saying, yeah, bring those rich people out of their homes. Take them, everything like that. When they storm Blackgate, crowd went nuts. Crowd was on Bane's side. Okay. And then the credits rolled. Then we go to Joseph Gordon-Levitt rising up into the Batcave. And when they did that, the crowd stood up. Still to this day, I've not seen a crowd stand up. This is the last time I saw them do it. They stood up and applauded as if Chris Nolan had just walked through the side door and said, hey guys, what'd you think? Did you like the movie? Come on now. What'd you think of that IMAX ratio, huh? They loved it and I loved it. And then, yeah, it's a perfect trilogy. It really is.
For me to piggyback off of The Dark Knight really quick, I just remember that movie theater experience where it's a scene where all the ordinary people are supposed to pull the trigger, turn the key, and the music starts picking up. Hans Zimmer gives it the, and it's like cutting between everything, and Joker just pinned Batman down, and he's like, "Here we go," and then you're just waiting, and the music is, and I'm like, I'll never forget everyone like. Whenever they didn't pull the trigger, everybody in the theater like took a massive sigh of relief, like, holy shit. And then you're like questioning in your head, like, would you do it? What would you? Like, I love whenever directors do that, put the question in your hands as the audience, like, what would you do?
Mine was the pencil trick. The pencil trick got a dude to the left of me, literally just like, ooh, like he got up out of his chair and was just like, did you fucking see that pencil trick? And I was like, yeah, dude, I'm watching the same film as you. Like, yeah, I saw it.
But for me, my favorite movie theater experience actually has nothing to do with the movies, but it was one of my favorite ones. That it was the year 2012 where I started getting into movies, and I went to go see the Avengers. It was the first time I had met my now stepdad, but my mom's boyfriend at the time. And us three, my mom and my stepdad, we all went to go see the Avengers on that opening weekend Friday, and this is before reserved seating. And I think we're like getting towards closer to the end. What's it called? Thor just got flown off the ship. Hulk is off the ship. Things just quieted down. And then like my mom picks up her drink, big, large cup, and squeezes it. You know how those cups are with the lids, squeezes it. She's sitting next to a woman, some shitty white woman, and squeezes it, the cup explodes. It was still full, gets all over that woman, and she starts screaming at my mom. My mom, who's like 40-something years old at the time, is getting screamed at by some stupid white bitch that's like 24 or 20, like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God. What are you doing? My stepdad is over there sitting off to the side, like defending my mom, and he's just like, shut up, bitch. Fuck you, bitch. What are you doing? It's fucking water. Fuck off, bitch. She's going off. The whole theater can hear us. Everyone in the theater could hear us. And then out of nowhere, my mom literally says, pish posh, I'll buy you a napkin. And everyone was like, oh shit. That woman gets up, storms out, tries to go get the manager. Everyone in the theater hears that woman storm out, and they start clapping and cheering, like, shut up, bitch. It's the funniest fucking thing that's ever happened, that I've ever seen an entire theater that's like, bro, it was just water. Like, there's people all the way at the bottom that's like, didn't even know what was going on. They could just hear her screaming. And it's like, you're really going to scream in a dark theater? She had no place to do that. The manager didn't come to talk to us, and he was like, yeah, she's leaving. You guys are good to go. Like, we've heard the story. Y'all are cool. And that was that. But yeah, that's my favorite movie theater experience. So I got lots more, but we're running short on time. So Jacob.
Um, I feel like for me, it was probably Dark Knight Rises would just be one of my favorites. Either that or just being able to see like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Licorice Pizza in 35 and 70 millimeter respectively. It's cool being able to see things on film, and it feels like you're watching an old art form. Something that's before your time, and it's cool. But I mean, for like the most the one that spoke to me, I think that made me go, I wanted to be able to do movies was Dark Knight Rises, because that was the first thing that I saw on IMAX, and um, it gave me scope. That was the first movie in the Dark Knight trilogy that I got to watch in theaters. I was too young during Dark Knight, only 8 years old at the time, but whenever I got around to go and watch Dark Knight Rises in IMAX, it was insane, man. Bane was terrifying. Like, he was my Darth Vader in that moment of just being a presence that intimidated the fuck out of me. And a movie that gave me just genuine anxiety, with how loud Chris Nolan edits, because this motherfucking movies are loud, dude. And then that IMAX just like it swallows you, man. It swallows you. There is so much I love about this movie, but also so much that made me realize that I love movies, and it was really just cool to see that.
Yeah, one of my favorite movie theater experiences about the movie was me and Justin went. They haven't done it in a while, I don't think, but it's the Cinemark in Dallas that has a 70 millimeter. They can play 70 millimeter IMAX, and Chris Nolan's Dunkirk was the last movie that we saw on 70 millimeter IMAX. I kid you fucking not. You won't see a bigger screen or better picture or better, like that first shot of the soldiers. It just like I'll never forget. Justin, you may not remember, but it's like me and you literally like jumped back in our seats. Like we were like, oh fuck, we're in this. And it's like,
Dude, they were so tall. Like the
yeah,
first shot of them, I was like, is this Godzilla? And I'm like, no, it's 6 white dudes walking.
yes,
But you have never seen taller white men in America. Like,
yeah.
my God.
And my mouth is just open all the way up until the first 35 millimeter shot. Like that's like 20 minutes into the movie. Like it's just nonstop. You're like, oh shit, we're like, I'd never felt like that. I still haven't felt like that. Like,
Because
like
yeah,
say what
because
you can about the movie, but you like if there's ever a time when a movie is released in 70 millimeter film IMAX, go see it.
because the normal aspect ratio for the Limaxes around most people is 190.
Yeah.
When you get that true IMAX 70, it's a 143 aspect ratio.
Yeah.
And so 143 takes your breath away.
Yeah.
And that's the craziest. It's the tallest image in the world.
It was, dude, I like, it just makes me sad whenever I know there's people that hadn't seen it. That's just like, they really missed out on that opportunity for that. But we're gonna take a quick break, so we'll be right back. All right, we are back. Justin Keller had to leave, so we had to say our goodbyes. But me and Jay, we're gonna finish this conversation off, and hopefully we'll see y'all next time. So we talked about our earliest memory, and we talked about our favorite memory. When we talked about why we love the movie theater, I think for me, the final conversation should be about what has been your favorite movie to ever see in a movie theater. What is that movie that you feel like if you told someone, I'm going to go watch a movie in a movie theater, this is what you're going to show them? What is that movie?
Okay, so real quick, this question, are we doing showing them a movie that we specifically only seen in a theater?
No,
Or
a movie
any
that
movie?
you love, that you saw in theaters, that you think should be seen in theaters. It could be small or big. Like,
Okay, I got you.
something that you feel like represents what it means to go watch a movie in theaters. And you can give it with a crowd or without a crowd, if it needs a crowd or if it doesn't need a crowd.
Got you. I don't know. being probably about as genuine as I can, I feel like I got two movies in mind. It's got to be Apocalypse Now, which I've seen in theaters. And I mean, I don't know.
I was about to
man.
say, I'm like, motherfucker, you weren't. Oh, I forgot. I forgot. We used to watch anything up at the movie theater.
Yep, I found the loophole. But yeah, no, with Apocalypse Now just being, an asshole. That's a movie that I feel like it speaks to me about the stories that I want to be able to tell and how I want to be able to tell them. I think that, Apocalypse Now, it's something that has, a message limited within the Vietnam War, but it's creates a scope to where it's not only talking about specific philosophical messages, but you know, messages about movies themselves through transcending genres and being nerdy and shit like that. But that's something that whenever I get to see on the big screen, it means that I get to be that much closer to a world that I love, even if I was the only one in the theater. But to give you an honest answer, I don't know. I feel like I've noticed a pattern with this podcast, and that being a couple of things: Star Wars, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, and then C, the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Nolan. And for my choice, it's gonna be Inception. And I don't know. I think it's interesting with just Chris Nolan himself, because I think that his movies show that theater experience, because he's just like us. He's somebody who loves being able to sit down in a movie theater surrounded by a crowd, and he draws attention to that through his films. And with Inception being a culmination of not only that, projection onto the audience, but it's, the movie that he's been waiting to make his entire career. And after making movies after movies for companies, he finally made it.
Yeah.
And to be able to show that with as groundbreaking as it is, it shows to me what movies can be. And it's something that I feel is awesome. It's awesome. And it's a movie that inspired our entire generation to want to be able to make movies, right there with Star Wars, right there with Marvel, right there with everything else. But, at the center of it all, there's that one man, Chris Nolan. And, as much as we make jokes with the film bros of the world, it's something that, I don't think that you and me will ever be able to ignore, because we all know that for our generation, Chris Nolan is those roots.
Yeah. He's the guy who's like brought back. He's the guy that got our generation to understand the meaning of a movie theater. Because without him, I don't think that there'd be a director out there that would have gotten us to understand what it means to go watch a movie in a movie theater. And he's been preaching it since Memento, like just nonstop. For me, I'm gonna do two. Not a cop out like you with Apocalypse Now, although if I did, mine would be The Thin Red Line.
Okay. I like how we both on the war side, though.
I kid you not. I don't. Have you seen that movie yet?
No, I haven't. I'm getting ready to, but like I said, whenever you live with family and a movie like that, whenever you tell me it's gonna be loud and it needs to be played loud, I'm just waiting for the right time.
It needs to. Like, I kid you not, dude. Like, you won't hear more realistic. You will not hear more realistic war.
I'll get PTSD by the end of the movie.
You should. Like, I'm telling you, you should. It's not like Dunkirk that it's a full on just attack. It's obviously got its character moments, but when those war moments, like there's a scene with just bombs going off, dude.
I feel like all the old war movies, man, they're so cool to watch. Like I watched Full Metal Jacket for the first time since, again, like I was a kid. It's the first time that I got to watch it. And those war scenes, man, it's badass.
Yeah.
And they're all inspired from the Vietnam War, baby.
Yeah.
You see the pain that gets put into beauty and art.
Exactly. Yeah, those old war movies are insane. There's a movie called Platoon, directed by Oliver.
Oh, dude, Platoon.
Just insane.
Yeah, man.
But my two movies that I'd choose to show somebody is one I've already mentioned, Dunkirk. If you had a chance, again, if you had a chance to go see that movie in IMAX 70 millimeter, you'll be floored. You will absolutely get floored to the like. And if you had a good seat, you were just, and we had the perfect seat. I have the shirt too. I saw Dunkirk in IMAX 70 millimeter. It just doesn't. I thought that he would do it for Tenet, but obviously COVID happened, and I think that he was going to do it, but COVID happened, so it just wasn't playing in IMAX 70 millimeter near us. But you just won't get a better experience. And then the next one I would have choose actually came out in the same year, but that's Blade Runner 2049. Obviously, I'm choosing two of my favorite movies of all time, but whenever I saw that in theaters, especially in IMAX, they did. I think that was the groundbreaking movie because, for my memory, that's the first movie that didn't shoot in IMAX that was in.
Yeah, they upscaled it.
Yeah. So I had never seen anything like that. So I'm literally walking into the IMAX expecting black bars, expecting it. And then it's like the way the movie starts, obviously you've got the text on the screen that's like, this is what those Blade Runners, they're called Blade Runners. And then bam, you get that big ass eyeball on screen. And it was like, what the fuck is going on? They went full IMAX. Holy shit. You had the best visuals a movie has ever seen, ever had. I can't name if you can, maybe you can. I'll never be able to name a better looking movie. And I'll argue with anybody on that. There's not been a better looking movie ever. And then you get that.
And if it is, it's probably a Roger Deakins movie that they're naming.
And the fact that I got that in full IMAX, fuck me. Like, what the fuck? I was so happy that he did 1917 because he did the same thing in IMAX in 1917 and it was beautiful. So that's what I would recommend. I have a lot of others, but those are the two that's like, if I was to show somebody what a movie theater is all about, I'm showing those. Honestly, though, that Blade Runner experience was so much better in IMAX, but you can't watch it like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And but the crowd experience, this may shock people. I'm going full on Licorice Pizza, recent memory, because I had the sold out show. Oh my god!
I'm still getting reactions in my man. That just felt like, I don't know, dude. That movie will always have a soft spot in my heart. Like, there's a reason why I saw it 4 times in film.
Yep, I only got to see it once because I just was way too lazy to drive out there. But yeah, no, it's holy shit.
I sometimes I get sad that it's out of theaters, man. I would really just love to be able to sit down.
I still need to buy it on Blu-ray, but
hey, Justin just told me the price dropped today from the last time that we recorded our podcast.
Price drop where? On Amazon?
Yeah, like $16. I think it's at either 14 or 16 right now.
No fucking way.
Yep, just got mine.
That's 16. Yep. Shit. Let me cop it. Just make it quick.
I can't wait for us to buy that. Then they do another PTA Criterion.
I don't think they have any.
Construct Love.
Oh, that's the only one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't think he does that.
He really doesn't.
Oh, Safdie Brothers has Daddy Longlegs coming.
Okay.
I've never seen that, so I wanted to. That's coming August 16th.
So I know that I was looking around for some of their earlier movies, but I wasn't able to find any at the time.
Yeah.
So that'll be nice to get a re-release.
Damn, stupid cat. But yeah, Licorice Pizza, to kind of wrap up the final point is like, even comedy movies, it doesn't have to be action flicks. Even just normal films will still give you an experience. And that experience I had, like, that's how you knew it was just a well-directed film, because people are sitting there laughing, but also feeling tense about some of the scenes and feeling anxious. And PTA, with just a small film compared to Dunkirk, was able to get similar reactions out of the crowd. Like that, honestly, like Licorice Pizza's, the reactions I got in that crowd were on par with Avengers Endgame. Like, I just hadn't had an experience like that since Endgame. And it's not the cheering, it's the communal experience, the laughing, it's the the oohs and the ahs. It's the oh my god, no fuck. It's all of that. It's like, but it's like none of it's annoying you because you're
Oh,
doing
dude.
it with them. So
Whenever the scene with the I think it was either a baseball bat or a crowbar with Bradley Cooper's car.
yeah.
Dude, I remember Bradley at the time. I just hear go right next to me whenever I took that over watching it.
It's all of that, man. That's why I love it. But yeah, we'll go ahead and I don't know if you have any other movies you wanted to bring up about movie theaters, but
That's it for me.
yeah. So let's go ahead and make a pivot and kind of wrap it up. So as usual, what you been watching, man? Since last time we talked, I think you were talking about Stranger Things and Better Call Saul. And
Oh man, I got a decent amount in between then and now. I did watch a little bit more of Better Call Saul, and I did manage to finish Stranger Things season 4. And I actually went ahead and just binge watched the entire series again, start to finish. Just that way I was caught up because I had so much time in between.
yeah,
And then I just finished off with watching, Top Gun a couple more times.
yeah. Oh, dude, I've seen it. I've only seen it twice, but I'm definitely checking it out. I think I might check it out Wednesday before it leaves IMAX, before Jurassic World takes its place. But what I've been watching since last time, I think I left off on Damien Chazelle and some other new directors. I was watching, so on Criterion, I turned on because I'm like, basketball season's over. I got to start watching more movies. And I was watching this interview with Richard Linklater, and like I always need like an inspiration that's like, it's like I love movies, but I always like need this inspiration of like, give me this push of like why I'm doing what I'm doing, because it's obviously I'm not making money and I have to go make money doing other things. So it's like I need this push to give me a reason to watch a movie at 1 a.m. I was watching this interview with Richard Linklater, and he was like, yeah, dude, I'd go to work, and then my off days I'd watch 3 or 4 movies a day, and that's all I'd do. I had no social life, yada yada. And I'm like, damn, I was at that point back in high school. I had like no friends and just watched movies all day. Now I'm like not there anymore. So yesterday I just hopped on the Criterion channel for the first time in a while, and instantly I saw one of my favorite directors, Billy Wilder, who I hadn't seen many movies, but the movies I had seen were fantastic. And I saw they had a collection for him of 4 movies from the 1940s, and just watched them all, 4 movies back to back. I woke up at 8 a.m., finished watching them by like 3 or 4 o'clock yesterday. And like, I'm not going to say they're perfect. Like, I finally watched Double Indemnity, which is a perfect noir film. I watched a movie called Five Graves to Cairo, a movie called The Lost Weekend, and a movie called A Foreign Affair. Obviously, Double Indemnity is the best film out of those 4, but The Lost Weekend was definitely one that hit home because it deals with alcoholism. Not saying I'm an alcoholic, but it hits home because it deals with. Yeah, I hadn't seen a movie that was like so open to talk about those topics back in the early ages. So it was cool to kind of see how a movie tackled a sensitive subject back then. Like obviously nowadays we see it all the time. Back then you didn't really see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were some good little flicks. I wouldn't call them perfect. Out of all of them, I definitely rewatched Double Indemnity and probably The Lost Weekend about the alcoholism. But the other 2 had really good World War II premises. There's just a few things that I just like, I'm bored. But yeah, I'm gonna just keep doing that. So like for anyone that follows me on Letterboxd, you're just about to see like a whole bunch of old movies pop up. I started watching the 400 Blows finally.
Okay. Okay. I'll see how you like that one. I thought it was pretty good. That's like your intro to French New Wave.
Yeah,
doesn't
I was like, fuck, let me just go ahead and knock out as much French New Wave as I can. Like if I complete anything for my movie watching this year, let it be French New Wave. So I was actually into it. I just fell asleep because it was like fucking 2 a.m. So also watched Jurassic Park. But yeah, that's what I've been watching. So watch more movies, people. I love it. Watch whatever.
Always.
Don't be like Justin.
Watch TV too. Don't be like Justin.
Oh man, TV. I turned on The Sopranos too.
Oh, okay. I'm probably gonna have started watching. I need to get further into Better Call Saul, and then I'm gonna start.
Where are you at? Let's talk about it. We haven't talked about it. In a
Oh,
while.
I'm only in like season 2, episode 5.
You've been there for like the last month.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You watch like one episode a day?
A little bit.
One episode a week?
See, I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know. I'm really bad at sounding like a fucking film bro here. I don't like binging anymore. I'm trying to get back into it, but it's just like, I don't know. I like the repetition. I like sitting down every night watching something.
We're about to be there if you catch up.
I know. I'm gonna be there, man. I'm gonna be there for you.
I hate it too. I some things like Stranger Things is a binge show. Better Call Saul is not a binge show, but I was just way too into it.
Well, yeah, real quick, this is such a sidebar, but did Netflix buy out, or are they just doing a deal with with like the whole Breaking Bad universe?
Oh, so they have the deal that they get the first exclusive rights when the season is over. So it drops like a month after the season. But while the season is playing right now, no, they don't have that.
Okay, I got you.
So I actually found out that I have to pay somewhere somehow to watch Better Call Saul season 6. So that's what I've been kind of waiting for you to finish so that we can watch it together. But
I'm about to sack up and start watching it now that my life is starting to slow down again.
you got 34 days, and I'm probably wanting to start watching season 6 by the end of June.
Got you.
Because I don't want to be trying to catch up.
While they're doing episodes, you want to be ready to go.
Well, that too, and I'm going to be moving the week.
Oh yeah.
I want to be able to just like sit down whenever I move out while I'm like unpacking for a few weeks and organizing and shit, and sit down every week and watch an episode, not binging. I'm trying to like get all my binging out now so I can save money. And I'm literally just going out, making money, and then coming back, watching a movie and spending as little money as possible. But we'll talk more personal life off podcast.
You're about to tell me your entire net worth podcast.
But yeah, so that's what we've been watching. Justin's not here, so I don't know what the fuck he's been watching, but you can check his letterbox that he's mentioned like 10 times in this episode or last episode or whatever. But till further ado, next time on this podcast, we will probably be talking about Jurassic Park. So stay tuned. Thank you.